welcome back to the channel. Today, we're taking you along for a vlog. I gotta tell you, I love the car review stuff, it's very cool, but there's something about the sort of candid reality of what goes on behind the scenes that I'm really enjoying sharing. Today, we're taking you behind the scenes on the first drive of the new Porsche 992 GT3. You've already watched the video, probably. If you haven't, link below. But we just thought we'd take you on set and show you what's what. Just show you what goes on behind the scenes. Porsche have been sort of squeezing in the odd hour here and there for journalists and content creators to come down and drive this wonderful machine here. So if you come and follow me, I'll show you around it. What you might notice about this car, it's German plated, but it is actually a right-hand drive car. Check this out. There we are, look. You see? When you're driving it on the road, the reviews for the journalists are applicable, being a right-hand drive car, but this is actually a pre-production car. I'm not entirely sure, but I think this car might ultimately end up at the Silverstone Porsche Experience Centre, maybe. I think after about 6 months of use, technically these are no longer road legal being a pre-production car. So yeah, you might actually get a chance if you get yourself down to the Silverstone Centre at some point in the future, you might actually be able to drive that exact car. Because journalists are in and out of here day in, day out, we've got a super tight window. We've basically got 2 hours with the car each. The track sessions are intense. So Porsche have got down this tyre service here, where when we bring the car back, it's predictably absolutely stinking. It wouldn't be fair to send out another journalist on a scrubbed pair of tyres. So we've got this service down here and they're constantly swapping, as you can hear, tyres on the go. One thing that I've been absolutely amazed by, taking this car out earlier on the road, double wishbone front end, rose joints, and the compliancy of it was ridiculous. Now, if you drive a 3.8 997 3RS back-to-back with an RS4 litre, the 4 litre feels quite stiff because of the rose jointing and it being a more track-biased car. And I thought, reading it on paper, they don't sound dissimilar in terms of the evolutions that they've made. That thing, the compliancy of it is incredible. But more incredible is these are some tyres which have been absolutely sent on track. I mean, every journalist is coming here because we've got such a small time frame that these things are taking a beating. The beauty of the double wishbone front end is that it allows the tyre to spend more time effectively making contact with the surface of the tarmac. When I brought mine in, the first thing I wanted to do, lock over the wheels and take a look at these tyres, and sure enough, the outer edge, and these have been fully sent, look at it. The outer edge is completely fine. Tyres last longer, grip is just phenomenal. I said on my first drive review, the defining word for this car for me is grip, because the lateral load and the grip you could throw onto the front end with a bit of braking to get the weight on the nose is incredible. This guy here giving us fresh rubber, and also when we bring it in, he also comes and resets our tyre pressures to make sure that they are optimally pumped, as it were, which is always helpful. Part of the stuff that you don't see behind the scenes between every journalist is a complete car reset. So not only do we have new tyres, the car basically goes through a full wash, de-cleanse, etc., which is happening right now, hence it being up on the jacks to swap tyres. That happens in real time right there, look. This is happening right now, so that's cool. So when you turn up, you don't actually know that literally half an hour ago, this thing was being ragged within 10 inches of its life. So it's pretty good fun. These have been on for 3 days. So I've just found out, I thought that was just my session. These have been on for 3 days of journalism in high intensity. That is ridiculous. Can you imagine that? I remember a few years ago, you'd be happy with that for a single track day. This is what you don't see really that goes on behind each take effectively. So if you were to watch my video and then someone else's, this is the process which has taken place between each one to make sure that the car is ultimately up to factory spec. I know we've all seen lots of photos of this car, but it's another classic case of cameras not doing it justice. Sculpture on it's amazing. This front air intake, the sculpture of the sort of aero lines and curvature of the bonnet as well don't come through on camera that well. They're actually quite deep, and it sounds the business, even though it's subject to the fuel particulate filters trying to suppress it. You wouldn't know. It sounds brilliant. What we're doing now is waiting for the sound of this beautiful flat six at 9,000 RPM, because this is now subject to fuel particulate filters, aka bung up the backside. However, I'm pretty convinced that Porsche have managed to do some more magic, which is make it sound good even with the bungage, as it were. So let's wait for it hopefully this guy comes past full chat. Yep. Check this out. Well, this is a car that I've been wanting to see in person for a while. This is a new Taycan Cross Turismo. German plated, left-hand drive. Do you know, in person it looks brilliant. Side profile, it's got a great stance about it. This looks like it's a, I don't know if it's a development car or it's just been doing some serious press drive rounds, but do you know what? I'm gonna go and ask the boys for the keys. Hopefully we can take this thing for a spin. That would be awesome. All right, check this out. It's the most uncool thing. This is my packed key. So at the tail end of a world of COVID-19, between each journalist, the key gets disinfected and then put into a sealed, clean bag and then passed to the next person. So check it out. So effectively, what we're looking at is a sort of more practical Taycan, really, isn't it? See what this is all about. Yes, there we go. Of course, the seats fold down. There's some deep pockets here. There are little cubby holes and you don't see it at first. That's actually a pretty decent space. If you look at the boot space in a standard Taycan, it's not that big. Anyway, we've got the keys, so let's just go for a drive. It's such a contrast. We've literally just stepped out of the 992 GT3. And now we're into this Taycan, which is on, but obviously not making any noise. Jimbo and I, the cameraman holding this camera, have recently spent basically an entire week with a Tesla Model 3. The defining feature of that car actually isn't the car at all, it's the charging network, which is one of the main reasons why we couldn't have gone for something like this, because the miles that we do, if we do want to do a journey in an electric car, we actually can't do. We went from London to York not so long ago, and on the route we were on, the Tesla supercharger network was there for us always. And you get in, and by the time you've gone in for a comfort break, coffee, come back, a 20-minute charge in a Tesla gives you enough distance to then hop on to the next supercharging point. Sadly, not the case with these right now. It'll get there, and when it does, I'll probably be the first one to hop out of a Tesla and into a Porsche, but sadly, for our lifestyle and work style right now, can't do it. Hey, Jimbo.
Tell me if you're going to floor it.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you that. Whoa!
Wow.
I know everyone goes on about this. The problem with electronic propulsion is its democratized performance. There's no such thing anymore as a impressive 0 to 60 because it's just there. It's just like it's always there, but I can't help but think it's somewhat of a party trick. It's incredibly impressive. The thing with the Taycan is it's developed by Porsche, who have a deep legacy of motor racing, building fantastic sports cars, road cars, drivers' cars, and you can feel that in the DNA of the car. So when you show it a corner, it actually handles like a Porsche. I mean, that is super cool. Like, the acceleration is amazing, but I don't know, after you've done it, now what? I don't know. It's super impressive, but right now you just have to approach them as impressive daily drivers. I don't think it's the kind of thing that you would take out for a sunny Sunday drive somehow. It's quite strange, but my God, is this thing ballistic propulsion, like ballistic. So thankfully we have stayed within the confines of Bedford Autodrome, so we are on a private road. We're not just launching this down the highway. The build quality though, and this is something else. I mean, the Tesla, no disrespect, Elon, you've built an amazing product, but I can't help but approach it similar to a white good. It's kind of like, you know how your washing machine does a good job of washing, and your dishwasher does the dishes well, your Tesla does the commuting well, is what I would say. And that's kind of how it feels. It's very good at facilitating a job, but it doesn't facilitate any emotional stimulation. And this does to a degree. It's definitely the best electric car experience I've had by far and away is a Porsche Taycan. The Cross Turismo as well is fantastic. But importantly, when you tip it into a corner, which we've got at the bottom of this road here, crikey, onto the brakes, of which we have Porsche's phenomenal carbon ceramics. and off it goes. But the quality, you get in this and it feels like a Porsche. Yeah, right, this generates 750 horsepower on overboost, so let's see what that be like. Oh my God! Absolutely ridiculous. In Sports Plus mode, full deployment of all 700. That's the thing with these things, is in every petrol combustion engine car, you build up and find maximum horsepower, maximum torque through the rev range. Because this is four-wheel drive and electric, and on overboost function, which is available in Sport Plus full throttle, it deploys 100% of 750 horsepower and all of its torque to the tarmac. It is, as far as party tricks go, it's a good one. I'm serious when I say this, but the synthetic hum that it has, you ready? Kind of works. Right, Jimbo, are you ready? I don't know if you want to be in that position, dude. I think I would, if I was you, I'd face forwards.
I'm scared if I do that, it's going to literally
You should
hit
be.
me in the face.
You should be scared. You ready?
Ready?
It's so ridiculous. I'd like to hear, or I'd like to see some, like a proper data study on the actual carbon footprint from like start to finish manufacturing process. I just think it's too early. Right now, I don't know, there's lots of controversy, even though the sort of local emissions, i.e. the emissions that the car emits, which is supposedly zero, is low. I just can't help but think it's sort of offset down the line to a larger exhaust pipe. Like if your power's not coming from a renewable energy source, isn't it just offsetting the emissions elsewhere? I don't know. Comments below. Perhaps I'm just being a bit of a pessimist. Okay, we've found ourselves somewhat of an off-road section. You can raise this car up. I think it goes up 10 mil above its sort of standard setting. And then, which is quite fun, you can geotag the location where you actuated the lift. So say, for example, every day you drive home from work, you come up against a bump or a speed bump, and you stop the car and you press lift up. What you can do is preset it like that, smart lift, save. If I save that now, the next time that this car comes to this exact location, it will lift up for you in advance so that you don't have to, heaven forbid, use your index finger to lift it yourself. Now, let's go and see what this ride height looks like. Now check that out. Actual, and this is why it's called the Cross Turismo. Do you remember the Audi Allroad? Do you remember that? Back in the day, years ago, it's kind of like one of those. It's like a RS6 on stilts type of thing. And that's why it's a Cross Turismo. Now we found some rough terrain. Let's see where we can take this thing. It's just crazy. This is an actual off-road section of an event stage, really, that they've got here, but look at this. That extra ride height, well, that was the last thing I ever expected to do in a Taycan. Do you know, weirdly, my opinion of this thing's just changed. I know this isn't like off-road, but gravel track. We found this sort of abandoned landscape, which is just next door to Bedford Autodrome. I think it forms their sort of off-road experience, I think. This thing on a gravel track. Back at base. Well, that took a turn for the awesome. That was really, really cool. That off-road section, as it were. I know it wasn't off-road, but through the gravel. It's really compelling, actually, to see. Do you know, and actually, this drive is a week after that Extreme E has been taking place in the desert of Saudi. And watching that, you can really see the benefits of like the electric application in the desert for like super fancy torque vectoring and just savage torque and traction. Pretty cool. That section just then, small, but very sweet. Yeah, I like this thing. Very, very cool. I'm gonna take my little disinfected handbag with me. All right, so there we go. Pretty productive day, actually. We filmed that thing this morning, so GT3 video in the morning, Cross Turismo and vlog in the afternoon, and now I've got to head up the road. We're going to Alton Park because it is my final test day with the new seat fitting that I had to make that car fit me like a glove before our first race. So lots to be looking at. I'm gonna have to shoot Jimbo, but as always guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you've seen, be sure to leave a thumbs up. If you really like it, be sure to subscribe, and if you really like it, when you subscribe, hit the little bell to the right hand side, and that will let you know when new content goes live for the first time. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Go!